Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. It's Chris here, Warcraft 24/7. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification so you know every time we go live, when we post new videos. Been a while since we've been streaming, been a while since we've been online. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to set up a brand new UI. As you can look at my screen right now, it pretty much looks like trash. That's the default Blizzard modern UI brought in with a couple of my add-ons scattered across the screen. And to be honest, it's really garbage. But today we're going to fix that. So setting this up, going to set up this new UI, going to set up this hunter. Fixing to hit 70. This is Sobek. He was my original hunter. He's been around for a long time, Burning Crusade. Stopped playing him a little bit during Dragonflight because professions were going to be such this new great revamp thing that I thought he needed to sit out a little bit. That I needed a different character with different professions because I didn't want to drop professions that he has had because, like I said, he's been around since Burning Crusade. He's a jewel crafter. He's an engineer. A lot of these patterns, a lot of these things that he has, you just can't get anymore. And to be honest, there's no way I'd want to go back and try to level up engineering through all those past expansions to get some of those, mounts and toys and utility items and stuff like that. It blows my mind to even think about it. So I didn't want to mess him up. I didn't want to mess up his professions. So I started a new hunter. Well, professions turned out to be kind of a letdown. So here I am um, with Sobek fixing to get started developing this new UI, and we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see what it turns out, and also during this time I'm gonna be setting up my action bars and setting everything up, talking about that a little bit. And that's for my buddy Jimmy Street 007. You can find him on YouTube as well. He streams. He also puts a lot of videos, does a lot of Pokemon stuff, does World of Warcraft. Really good guy. I'll link his channel below. Um, After the stream finishes up, I'll link all that information. Um, Check him out. Give him a like. Give him a follow. Subscribe to him. He's a pretty good guy. All right. So here we go. Let's get started. We are going to go into the edit mode. All right, and don't let this intimidate you. This is a lot of stuff Blizzard's thrown at you. Don't let it intimidate you. First thing we're going to do, you notice all my action bars are empty. We're going to go in here to the number one action bar. We're going to hide the bar art. That's important. Just get rid of that, man. Some people like it. Some people want it. You know what? For me, it's garbage. Don't need it. Um, Also going to turn off that scrolling. Don't need to scroll that action bar. There's no need for it. All right. So we got that set up. Now, let's talk about some of this stuff. We got, you notice we got these two action bars over here on the right side of the screen. We're going to pull those out to the middle. Get those out of the way. That way we can move all this stuff closer to the right. I'm going to move these boss frames out off the side. That allows our campaign and our quest log to be really tight against the side. I'm going to scale that down for just a minute because I got a lot of stuff going on that I need to get moved out of the way. Which now Blizzard has given us the ability to move our menu bar and our bags. But I really like the menu bar and the bags down here in the bottom corner. They're kind of out of the way. Don't really hurt anything. I like them there. All right, let's go back to this object tracker. We're going to scale that up just a little bit because we like to see a lot of quests. We like to see a lot of stuff we got going on. That's a little too big. We're going to scale that back down a little bit. Let's try 700. Alright, let's see. We're going to post that right there. Fits right above our bags, Looks really good. Now our mini map, we're going to drag that down a little bit because we run an add-on called Titan Panel, and it sits at the top of the screen. So I want to keep that nice and clean. So just bring the mini map down just a little bit. All right, so we got this side of the right side of the screen looking okay. All right, we got our buff frame. I like to keep my buff frame at the top. I know some people don't. For me, it's fine. I don't mind that buff frame being up there. Trying to get it lined up right now, that's a different story because it always wants to snap and everything. But we'll get it here in a little bit. All right, now extra abilities. We're gonna move this out of the way for right now. Our loot window, something. Let's close that right now. We don't want to see that. Reputation bar. You know what? I don't care about that anymore. Why would I? Everything's went to renown. We don't need the reputation bar. We don't need to see it. Let's get rid of it. You know what? First, before we get rid of it, I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move it over here out of the way, to the left-hand side. Get it out of the way. Then I'm gonna close it out. Gone. All right. Stance bar. Don't really use that as a hunter. We're gonna pull that up here. We're gonna pull these things up here out of the way for right now, just to make a little room. We're gonna pull all this stuff that we don't use. Pull it out of the way. Counter bar, cast bar. Get all that stuff out of the way. Because we want to make this fairly clean. Tool tips, like I said, we're just moving this stuff around, getting it out of our way. You know what? We should have made a new layout. Sorry guys. Let's do that. Let's call this Sobek. That way we know that it's our layout. All right. Action bars. Now, here's how I like to approach action bars. I like to have action bars for my attacks and action bars for my buffs. So, gonna take action bar number 8 right here. And we're gonna adjust that to a 3x4, 3 to 4 action bar. And we're gonna drop that right in here at the bottom. All right. That is going to be, it's going to be where we put all of our raid buffs. We're going to make sure we got our potions, our flasks, things like that. We'll show you that here in a little bit. Let's close that out. I want to go back to this reputation bar for just a minute. It will not let me scale that. That is something Blizzard, I think y'all messed up on, Blizz. Should have made that where you could scale that reputation bar, make it a little bit smaller. Experience bar. Okay, I'm still leveling. It's nice to have that experience bar. If I'm leveling an alt, I want to keep that experience bar where I can see it. So I'm going to keep it right there, center of the screen. And I'm going to use that as a reference to stack everything to. So I'm going to bring all my action bars down to that. Oh, talking heads. Let's get talking heads out of the way. That's the horriblest thing ever. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that they put little talking heads in there to us, but man, gets annoying. Gets in the way. All right, so we're stacking our action bars. They didn't want to snap this morning. I don't know what's going on. All right, action bar 3. See, we're getting all kinds of jumbled up stuff. Let's see. Can we... Always want this bar to be visible. 100%, 100%. We're going to bring our grid spacing down a little bit, see if that'll help us some. Put our grid spacing at 40. That's going to help us line things up where we want them. Okay. Let's get this. Right there. Action bar number 1 right there. Action bar number 2 right on top of that one. Action bar number 3 right on top of that one. Alright, let's find number 4, which is right here. It's vertical. We're going to change it back to horizontal. Drop it right there. That gives us our 4 action bars that we normally use. Now, number 5, we're going to drop that as horizontal as well. We're going to bring that right down in here. We're going to change that to another 3x4, just like we did on the other side. Snap it right there. Now, the reason we're bringing that in, we're going to put our profession stuff right there. That's going to give us stuff like our cooking, our jewel crafting, engineering, different things. So now action bar number 6, we're going to drop that. Oh, let me get number 7 off of there. Number 6, going to drop right in here next to it. Number 7, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drop it right in there. Now we got a little bit of an overlap right there, so let's do this. Let's bring our size down just a little. We'll drop that down to 90% because we're not using these in combat. These are bars that we're just using out in the world, not in combat. We're gonna have our mounts. We're gonna have our things like that in there. So don't really need those in combat. So they can be a little bit smaller. All right, we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. So let's go to player frame. We're going to move that more to the center. Target frame, we're going to move that more to the center. Alright. Extra abilities. I like to put my extra abilities right next to the right, top right of the action bars. That way they're pretty center of the screen. I can see them. Easy to get to. And for my hunter, that allows me to drop my pet bar right in there as well. That way we got everything right there stacked nice together. Vehicle exit goes right on top of the pet bar. Like I said, stance bar is not used, so we're going to hide that as a hunter. We don't need that. If we're playing a warrior, something like that, we can bring that back, but don't really need that. All right. Now you see, I run an add-on called All the Things, and that's this window right here. I like to position that right above my chat frame. Gives me a little bit of room right there. It's usually a pretty good spot. Size that appropriately. Our chat frame we keep in the bottom left corner, out of the way. Alright, so we're getting there. We're getting there closer. Raid bosses. Boss frames. I like to keep those right next to my campaign window. That way when we're in raid, I can see all the bosses right here in the boss frame. Doesn't get in the way of anything else. Also run details. I run details as a damage meter. I adjust the size of this on the fly, um, but I find that sitting it right here in this corner over here works pretty good. Alright, so let's move our player frame up just a little. Because here's what I want, a player frame about right there, because what I want to take is my debuff frame. Now, my debuff frame I want right here under my player frame. That way I can see what debuffs are on my character pretty quick. Buffs I'm not too worried about. We know what the buffs are that we're going to get. Raid buffs, utility buffs, things like that. You play enough, you kind of get that in your mind. You kind of know what that is. But debuffs, you want to be able to see some of that stuff pretty quick. All right, I think we're getting close. Let's move this menu over here out of the way. All right. All right, talking head. Dead center at the top. That's kind of out of the way. It's not going to get in the way of anything that's going on. You know, if you're in the middle of a fight, that's not really, if a talking head pops up, it's not really gonna mess with you too much. All right. Now we want to stack a few of these things in a little tighter. Encounter bar, I'll drop that right on top of the pet bar. Right next to the exit the vehicle bar. Just kind of keep this stuff stacked in tight. Alright, on my hunter, I don't use cast bar. I just don't. Everything's almost instant cast. I don't need it. I get rid of it. We'll drop the progress bar right in here. We need that. Let's put it right there on top of. I want to move up my target frame as well. Now I want to move these out just a little. I want to bring these out to the side because I want more room on the inside of my screen for when I'm fighting. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks over. Let's see how that looks. I think that's going to look fine. Right there. Focus frame. I want to put my focus frame right above my target frame because I want to see, when I'm looking at my frame, I want to see what I'm focusing as well. So it's just my preference. You can set it up however you guys want to. You don't have to use any of my setup. I'm just kind of showing you how I set my things up. All right. HUD tooltip. This is what you're going to see when you mouse over stuff. Click on items, whatever. I just kind of stick it over here to the left a little bit out of the way. You know, we're going to change that. We're going to drop our HUD tooltip right over here on top of our campaign quest. That way it is out of the way. It'll overlap the campaign items if it's active. So we'll be able to see everything, but it'll be out of the way. Alright, I think that is looking good. Raid frames. Gonna leave those where they're at for right now. But I am gonna move my party frames. I'm gonna move my party frames out more towards the center. Just above my unit frames. That way I can see my party at a glance. Everything's kind of in the everything I need to know is right in the center of this screen right here. You know, I worry about raid frames when we get to raiding. I like to see how many people we got and see kind of the group size and set that up when we got a big group. That's pretty easy to do, pretty quick to do. But right now, it looks like I got everything I want set up for my hunter. Let's save it and see what this looks like. All right, it's pretty clean. We got a pretty clean setup right there. Got this weak aura over here on the left side. If you're wondering what that is Tamra's Dragonflight Helper. It's a weak aura I run to keep track of where everything's at. As far as, you know, your feast, your Dragonbane keep, Dragon Scale keep attacks, what you've done for the week, how to get your profession knowledge, different rares and things that you might want to encounter. See what else we got running. We are running Mythic Ray tools. Use these good bit. I usually just keep them up here near the top. Marking targets, marking the floor. Use this in raid a lot. Of course, like I said, I got Titan panel across the top. Run that a good bit. Helps me keep track of everything. And that's it. That is pretty much the setup of what we're looking at for our basic layout. This is our basic layout we want to run. Got all of our action bars, got our pet bars, everything right there. Good to go. No problems. Alright, now, we're set up as Beastmaster Hunter. Like I said, gonna do this for my buddy Jimmy. See, there's where our extra action bar drops up. Looks like it works out pretty good. It's a good spacing. We're not going to drop that duck in the water right now. We're going to hold on to that duck toy for just a little bit. Get out of here out of the way somewhere. Alright, so let's start setting up our action bars. And kind of how we want this set up as a hunter. Alright, so let's go to our spell book. Alright. Anomaly, let's start at the top. We're going to go anomaly detection. This is something you'll pick up once you reach a certain renown with the explorers in Dragonflight. I haven't really found a great use for it. I'm just going to drop it down here in the corner somewhere. We'll use it at some point. Alright, auto attack, auto shot, Blood Fury. Alright, as an orc we have Blood Fury. This is our racial. It increases our attack power. It's a very good buff. I'm going to drop that right here. I usually use action bar number 2. That's kind of my buff bar during combat. So I'm going to drop that right there in spot number 2. Dragon riding, we're going to come back to that. Okay? And I'll show you why here in just a little bit. Mechanical bypass, this is again part of the... you learn this, you know, when you get far enough with the explorers and unlock that. Again, just drop that down there. Those two items are something you'll use during the game, but you know, not really something that you got to have. All right, mobile banking. Use this a lot. To be honest, you drop these all the time in raid. We're forgetting something, or during a, you know, just being out in the world, you want to grab something out of the bank. Easy to have access to. So we want to drop that in. I don't really put the revived battle pets on my bar because I don't do a whole lot with that. Um, it's easy enough to open the spell window and pop that if I need to. Undercurrent, that is an ability that comes with the Underlight Angler fishing pole. Don't really keep that on the bar either. Just like this Vindicar Matrix, you know, just stuff you don't need. Um, okay, now you know all these are racials and everything, so they don't really come into play. So let's get down into the Hunter tab. Okay, all right. Um, Arcane Shot, not really something I use a whole lot. I really don't even think you need it on your bar as a Beastmaster Hunter, to be honest. I do use Aspect of the Chameleon. I do use Aspect of the Turtle. Turtle is a defensive, not Chameleon, I'm sorry, Aspect of the Cheetah. Aspect of the Cheetah is a speed buff. Binding Shot is a very good ability. We want to keep that on your bar. That's basically a tether. It helps stun enemies. Comes in very handy in the Razageth fight. Call Pet. This is a hunter ability that lets you call out your pets. I usually keep that in the top right hand corner of my action bar. That way it's, you know, it opens up. So it allows you to summon whatever pet you want. Countershot is a stun or an interrupt. Not a stun, but an interrupt. Want to keep that kind of to the left side, you know, right here in this 4 or 5 range. Disengage is a defensive. We want to use that. Exhilaration is our heal. I'm gonna keep that. We use that a lot. Eagle Eye, I never use that. Eyes of the Beast, never use that. Feigned Death, I'm gonna keep that. That basically drops all of our threat. Sometimes as a hunter, we can pull threat pretty easy, depending if we burst at the beginning before the tank gets good aggro. Sometimes we can grab things by accident we don't mean to. That's a good ability to keep on the bar just so you can drop threat. So, you know, if you start getting something to you, best thing to do is run to the tank, hit Feign Death, drop all the aggro, tank grabs it and picks it all up. These are just utility things. Fortitude of the Bear. That's a big defensive. We want to keep that. We definitely want to put our freezing trap on the board. Hunter's Mark is basically useless now. To me. I mean, I guess if you're using it for PvP or something like that, it could come in handy, but to me it's pretty much useless. Alright. Kill Shot. Kill Shot is our finisher. That is what we want to use. At the end of the fight, boss starts getting low, we want to be Kill Shot, and Kill Command is our big pet attack. Alright, now here's something I did a little different. Pet utility. You can drop this pet utility marker out there, and that allows you to use, you know, to tame beasts, to heal pets, feed pets, and all that stuff. I will drop it on the bar just like normal so I can pull it up, but I will also go in here and grab min pet off of the actual bar itself, and I will bring that down and drop that. That way I can mend my pet without having to double click. I can just hit one button and mend pet. Play Dead. Play Dead is a pet utility. For if you feign death, your pet won't feign death. But if you have this Play Dead ability, you can feign death, have your pet play dead, and that drops aggro on your pet as well. So I'm going to drop that right there. I'm going to try to keep all my pet stuff right here to the right. Sentinel Owl I'm still on the fence about Sentinel Owl. I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes not so much. I don't know. It does give leech to your party, um, so you can drop it on a boss, and it works pretty good in Mythic Plus things like that. I'm not so sure how great it works in Raid, um, but it does get used. I kind of keep it out of the way. Survival of the Fittest is a damage reduction for both ourself and our pet. It's a big damage reduction. Want to use that a lot of times. We'll, especially in raid encounters, want to keep that. If there's a big burst that the boss is fixing to do, big damage, we want to be able to pop that survival of the fittest and ignore some of that damage. We don't always want to turtle, because turtle, even though it gives us an immunity, it will also take away our ability to attack. So, yeah, it's great for certain things and certain fights. You need to be able to turtle to cheese a mechanic. Well, you still want to be able to use survival of the fittest. That way you can, you can swap out and save that cooldown. Now, here's the thing about that though. If I summon, oh, never mind. Survival. I'm sorry. I was fixing to tell you guys wrong. If you notice, I changed out summon to Devilsaur, and Fortitude of the Bear changed to Primal Rage. That is a lust ability, so that's just like Bloodlust for the group. You want to be able to, as a hunter, you want to be able to bring that. That's always something groups are asking for. You want to be able to bring that ability, but just be mindful that Fortitude of the Bear, Survival of the Fittest will swap out. Our Fortitude of the Bear and Primal Frenzy will swap out depending on what you summon. Let's go back to our Spirit Beast. So I got my Spirit Beast back out, and I got Fortitude of the Bear back. Yeah, I just jumbled all that up, made that sound horrible, but anyway. Wing Clip, I can see that being used in PvP. Doesn't really come into effect at all in PvE content that I know of. I mean, I guess you could use it for some things, but for me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth me getting into melee range as a Beastmaster Hunter in order to slow somebody when I can just throw a ice trap or a tar trap or a binding shot or something like that. Alright, so let's go into the more specific Beastmaster abilities. Alright, Barb Shot. This is our main Frenzy ability. We want to stack this 3 times. It increases our attack speed by 30% for 8 seconds. We want to keep that up, because it makes our pet attack faster, and as a Beastmaster Hunter, our pet attack is what's going to do a majority of our damage. So we want to keep that, and I want to keep that close to kill command because they synergize off each other, especially as you get 4-piece. Bestial Wrath, that is our big boy that sends our pet into a rage. That is going to be it's 1.5 minute cooldown, but that is it's our big boy. It's gonna increase our pet damage. It's gonna remove crowd control effects, and it is also going to reset Barb Shot. It's going to grant us 2 charges of Barb Shot, so we want to keep that. That's kind of our I use it mainly to keep my rotation going smoothly. But, it's part of my normal rotation. That way I can make sure I keep Barb Shot, Kill Command, Barb Shot, Kill Command, keep that rotation going. Cobra Shot is the next one. Now this reduces the cooldown of kill command. So it's kind of like you'll barb shot, kill command, hold a second, barb shot, kill command, kill command. By the time that third cobra shot, then that third barb shot, depending on your haste, will be coming up where you can keep your 3 stacks, or you may have to beast your wrath. Hit that third one to get that 3 stacks. Kill command, barb shot, kill command, barb shot, kill command, working cobra shot to refresh those durations, if everything else is on cooldown. Multi-shot, we use that for our beast cleave. 2 or more targets, we want to keep beast cleave up. That basically activates that. Beast cleave increases our pet's damage on nearby enemies. It's a big buff, so we want to keep that up. And the rest of these are just passives that go along with being a hunter. So nothing crazy. And that's it. That's the whole thing right there. Now, depending on how you set up your talent tree, let's look at talent trees. I'm running a raid hybrid build, but depending on how you set this up, you may have, misdirection, tar trap on your bar. You may have camouflage if you're running that for Mythic Plus. And you kind of set that stuff up where you want it. Depending on what you're running, you may run tar trap with entrapment. You may even get into intimidation. When I hit 70, I should be able to get Death Chakram. I want to have I want to put that here in my rotation as well. But all that stuff will fill in as you learn. This is your key. This is your key stuff. This is really what you're going to be focusing on. You have your defensives, and I keep Fortitude of the Bear separate from everything else as far as defensives and abilities, is because it changes into a lust, and you don't want to accidentally be targeting that lust. I'm going to move these around just a little bit. Alright, so basically how I set up is, I got Feign Death drop aggro, a defensive, heal, disengage out of combat, sprint, racial, bestial wrath, my multi-shot, my interrupt, my binding shot in order to slow a group of enemies, and then basically it's kill shot, cobra shot, kill command, barb shot. That's it. That's really all you got that you need to worry about. Now let's talk about some of this other stuff though that we need to look at as far as what we want to put on our bars. And here's what I do, and you don't have to do this. This is just what I do. I use this space over here for various things. I like to keep my Tundra mount. Keep that on my bar. That gives us a nice little place to sell and vendor stuff too. And I just noticed something. If you'll notice right here, this cast bars. I don't want that cast bar. I thought I got rid of that. Let's go to edit mode. Cast bar. See, that's crazy. I got it turned off, but yet it's still showing up. So I guess let's drop it over here in the center somewhere. It doesn't matter. Don't need it, but anyway, just in case. I hate that cast bar. I'm going to figure out a way to turn that off, because I don't think I have that turned on my other hunter. Alright, so let's look at a few other things that we can do. Engineering, fuel crafting, cooking, fire, fishing. You can do archaeology and surveying if you want. You know what? Let's just go ahead because they don't really come into play anymore. But let's go ahead and drop them on there. All right, so that's got all of our engineering stuff. Let's go to our pet bar. Now you got your pet bar here, and growl. They fixed growl now, so it automatically turns on and off, which is great. Spirit Mend is good. It heals current friendly target. And I'm going to show you later. I'll do another little quick thing to show you a video on how to use that as a self-heal. But none of this stuff really, you don't have to put any of it on your bar really. It's all going to be there. I mean, you can. I mean, we can pull in dash, and we can pull in claw. That way it fills the bar up. But those things are pretty much going to be on all the time. As a hunter, I normally do run my pet on passive because I want to be able to control where my pet goes and how my pet attacks and what he attacks. I don't want Blizzard's UI to be going crazy and sending my pet out to attack stuff for me. Alright, so oh, we don't have our bow with us. It's going to make it crazy. It's going to make it hard to do that. Before we go any further, though, let's get back to something we did skip. Let's get into dragon riding. Now, I use the Cliffside Drake. I'm just going to drop him right there on the bar. You can use any of the Drakes. It's up to you, whatever you want to use. That's just the one I use. I also have on my bar a alternate flying mount for zones that aren't Dragonflight. And I normally use this Obsidian Nightwing because it has the ability to carry a passenger. That's mainly why. It's pretty small, it flies really good, it works really good. I like it. But let's go into dragon riding. See, I never set up dragon riding. I never pulled any of that from the action bars. If you notice, when we set up our menu, I never pulled any of this stuff in. But once I got on my Drake, it's already there. I've already got my Surge Forward, already got my Skyward Ascent. Now I am going to swap some things around because I like my Whirling Whirling Surge on 3. You know, all this stuff is passive, so it doesn't really matter. But see, I didn't have to set this up. We skipped this earlier. I didn't have to set any of that up. It'll automatically set it up for me. As soon as I jump on my Drake, the action bar changes, and everything's right there. All right, so let's fly up here to the bank. Alright, let's see.
As always, on time.
What did we do with our bow?
Until next time.
Alright, I think that's the bow we want right there. That is our legendary bow we got from Sylvanas. Let's go back to Beastmaster. We'll equip. Now if you notice, when I equipped that bow, it did give me the Wailing Arrow ability. That is now in our talent tree, right here, Wailing Arrow. It has its uses. There's times when you want to use it. Alright, As you can see, I'm level 300, roughly. I'm still level 69. I haven't replaced any of this gear hardly, um, but a lot of it was, it's pretty good to start with. But we have this set up, Beastmaster. So anytime we go into Beastmaster, um, it's gonna automatically load this. We have one for survival and everything else. I got several sets, but um, now let's talk about some of the other stuff I like to use that's not in our spell book. It's not in our professions, but it's stuff we want to keep on our bars. Um, got a bunch of junk right now in my bags. Really got to clean that out. I'm just looking real quick. Hearthstones. Garrison Hearthstone. Dalaran Hearthstone. And our normal Hearthstone. I don't know about you guys, but I use those a lot. Scrapbot construction kit as an engineer. Um, coming into raid, coming into groups. I want to be able to drop that scrapbot. Sometimes, guildies need some repairs. I want to be able to provide that for them. Gnomish army knife. Um, it it is kind of like a battle res, or not a battle res, but a res. You can use it as a res. Um, it's situational. I'll keep it on the bar. Don't necessarily have to. The Horde battle standard, always keep on the bar. We're out in the world. We're in a party. Drop this. It increases some health. Um, we're out in a battleground. It not world PvP. It's going to help us out if we're in battlegrounds. It's going to help us out. Actually, I don't know if you can use that in World PvP anymore. I think it is maybe just Battlegrounds. As a jewel crafter, I also have the ability to make these carvings as a heal. I keep those on my bar. Um, I can drop those and heal myself. Goblin gliders, very important if you ever have to jump off a cliff, get away from something. Goblin gliders can save your life. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we definitely just have to have on the bar. The shock motivator doesn't really come into play much anymore with dragon riding. You don't need it at all. Flight Master Whistle doesn't really come into play in these zones that we're in currently. So, alright, so let's go into. We got our mounts that we use. Let's go into our toy box because there are toys that we're going to use that we're going to want on your bars. Um, Katie Stamp Whistle. I can't tell you how many times somebody needs a mailbox. You can also get the Anoran Perch, which is the same ability. It allows you to use the mail system, but they are both on the same timer cooldown. So just pick one. It doesn't do any good to have both of them on your bars because if you use one, the other one's on cooldown as well. I think that's it. For some reason, I was thinking there was something else that I used a lot of. Oh. I always put my blings. Blings on the board. People like Blingatron. You can drop him down. There are a lot of these things that work in different zones that come in pretty useful, but since we're not in those zones anymore, um, they don't really come into play. think that's it. Yep, if I think of anything else, we'll add it in. But that's it. I mean, as far as your hunter attacks and everything, that's the whole shooting match. Or what I use anyway. So anyway, let's go try to get to 70. We're close. Oh, the gift of silver. Let's go pick up that. Let's see what.
Come forward, champion.
All right.
There is something I wish to
Let's
share.
see what Alexstrasza has to talk about. She's going to tell us about the gift of silver. Now, we've already done this quest. Basically, she's going to talk to you about Tyr's gift.
This gift from Tyr is precious to us. A final remembrance of a treasured friend.
His deeds and his courage will never be forgotten.
You have told me stories of that time, but I've never seen the relic he gave you.
We kept it in a place of honor here in Valdrakken. An ingot of pure silver, forged in the shape of a dragon scale.
Beautiful. Tell me, has it always pulsed with such potent magic?
No,
You have to go through this role play. There's no way
different.
around it.
the scale seems to have changed in our absence.
Perhaps our return to the Dragon Isles has awakened it. Tyr was full of mysteries. This may be one last enigma for us to investigate. As an ally of dragonkind, mortal, we ask that you take the scale and investigate this matter on our behalf.
Alright, so let's get this scale. We'll walk back over here to Alexstrasza's feet. Look at those big toenails. Turn that in.
Tyrhold may have the answers we seek. Watcher Coronos knows those halls well. He can guide you on your journey.
As the Dragon Queen wishes. I shall meet you there, hero.
Alright, he's gonna meet us there. Sparks alive. Alright, let's go knock out some of these little quests. These are weekly quests. Of course, this is the only way to leave the top. Straight down to bomb. Alright, this is a weekly quest. You want to make sure you pick this up. This is show your medal for Thomas Bright. You got to do a couple of intro quests, but once you get them done, talk to him every week. He's going to give you some artisan metal.
See you later.
It's just that simple. Alright, let's see. This is also a profession guy that's going to give you a quest. Every week he wants us to gather 25 mundane gems from the Jardin on the Dragon Isles, and that's going to increase our jewel crafter cuts. Want to pick that up. Let's see what other quest was there. The exhibition. That's a jewel crafting quest.
Time in the Isles.
See what that says. Oh, I'm gonna craft several gems for her.
This is when you leave.
Alright, so she wants a Queen's Ruby, a Mystic Sapphire, a Sensei Sudden Onyx, and a Vibrant Emerald. Man, I'm not even sure I can craft any of that stuff yet. Wow, those are expensive. And it looks like she's wanting to rank 3 of those. So, looks like we got the rousing air. We need the rousing frost. Rousing fire we're going to need. Let's craft the ones we can. Alright. So we need some rousing frost. And rousing fires. Alright. Hey guys, gonna have to drop out for just a little bit. Gonna end the stream right here. Got something that just came up real quick. It's gonna need my attention. I'm kind of a semi-emergency here at the house. So thanks for watching as long as you have. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream. Plan on putting out a video here shortly of Trade Skill Master because I had to wipe my computer not too long ago and lost some add-ons and things. Trade Skill Master needs to be reset up, so we're going to try to do a fresh setup of that here in just a few minutes. But anyway, thanks for joining today. Hope this helped if you're trying to play a hunter, if you're wanting to get started. Hope this helps give you a little bit of insight on how to set it up. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a good one.